Hey guys, I wanted to give you this quick mini lesson to get you some help as you work through Navigator session 9. We've done types of worksheets like this before in class where we had to look at students' work and kind of analyze to see whether or not they were doing things the right way or if they were making mistakes. And so that's what you're doing on this Navigator session. We are going through and basically pretending that you're the teacher and you're going to see if the student's getting it right. And if they're not, then you're going to mark it wrong and you're also going to correct it with the right answer. So your work time problems, get my marker up here. It says John completed the homework below, and we're going to correct all of his mistakes in his work. So for number 1, it said circle the greatest of these 3 numbers. So I have 4.23, 4.325, or 4.5. So remember, when you're comparing decimals, you want to stack them and think about what number is in each place. So I have my 3 numbers, 4.23, 4.325, and 4.5. Now notice they all have a different number of digits in them. And so to compare, I'm going to start over here on the left-hand side. In the ones place, they all have the same number, so I can't do anything to decide which is bigger and which is smaller. So then I'm going to look the place behind the decimal, which is the tenths place. One of them is bigger than the rest. And since I'm wanting the thing that's the greatest or the largest, I see the greatest number here is my 5. So the correct answer should have been 4.5. So we would mark 4.5 as our correct answer, and we would mark John's work wrong. And so you would then talk about why he got it wrong, or is he right or wrong, and if not, correct it, I mean. So we could write that he was wrong, and that the answer should have been 4.5. So on your next one, similar type thing. You have several decimals, and you need to write them in descending order. That means from going from the greatest to the least. And so I would do exactly what we did on that first problem. I would take all of these numbers and I would stack them. And I'm not going to go through and write them all out, but I would stack all of my numbers, and then I would start to compare place value. To me, it looks like it's pretty easy to see that I have some numbers that have 2s in the ones place versus some numbers that have 1s in the ones place. And so those 2s automatically are going to be bigger. And so stack your numbers and then work from the left to the right, pulling out the largest number within each place and putting those in order. And let me know if you need help on that, and I can give you some more examples. Number 3 says write any number that is greater than the first number but less than the second number. So you're looking for numbers in between the two. So in between 6.2 and 6.5. And he wrote 64. And so I think in between 62 and 65 would be 64. So if it was 6.2 and 6.5, he probably meant to have 6.4 instead of 64. He forgot his decimal. And then in between 0.9 and 1. So even you can think about these on a number line. Here's 0.9 and here's 1. What would be in between the two? Remember, we talked a little bit about these. The halfway mark gets the thing that adds the 5 on, right? So we could call this 0.95. 0.10 or 0.1 would be way back here on the number line. So I think he missed this one as well. And then between 1 and 1.1. Well, he has 1 and 1/2. And if I think about 1 and 1/2 as a decimal, 1/2 is this idea of 0.5, right? Common decimal and fraction conversion. So if I have 1 and 1/2, that would be 1.5. And so think, is 1.5 going to be in between 1 and 1.1? And so if it's not, then you could mark it wrong. If it is, you could leave it alone. And then discuss, is he right or wrong? And if he's wrong, put in the correct answers. And then we have Marita, who's trying to do some of these problems also. The first one, she wants to know which is the largest, the greatest. So again, I would stack the numbers up, right? And look from the left. They all start with 6s. So you're gonna have to look into the tens place. And so a 4, an 8, or a 3. Well, the biggest one I see, 4, 8, or 3, would probably be the 8. And so she's missing this one, and you could write about it. This time we're writing them in descending order, so that means from greatest to least. So again, stack the numbers. They are all numbers in the 8s. So you're going to be forced to look at the tenths place and possibly even the hundredths and the thousands place from there. So try those, make sure you stack those numbers up. Circle all the numbers that are greater than 0.45. So this has a 4 in the tenths place. A 1 in the tenths place, nope, that wouldn't be bigger. Oh, a 3 in the tenths place, that would not be bigger. A 5 in the tenths place, yeah, she got that one right. A 6 in the tenths place, yep, that's bigger than 4. But a 3 in the tenths place, no, that's not bigger. So it looks like she got one wrong. She missed this one and got this one correct. So you could write about that. And then circle all the numbers that are less than 0.75. So again, think about this has a 7 in the tenths place. I'm looking for things that are less than that or less than 75 of the hundredths. Remember, if they don't have the same number of digits, you could always put the 0 placeholders behind it as a helper to see if it ends up helping you think about place value. And so your very end, your reflection, you're going to write about 3 mistakes that John and Marita made as they were working through these problems, and then give them some advice on how they might be able to get these problems right the next time around. So go ahead and get this submitted when you're finished. And I hope you're having a great day, and I will talk to you soon.